Welcome to Middle Age Can Be Your Best Age, the show designed to help make middle age your prime time of life by defying the notion that once you reach 40, 50, or even 60 years old, your crowning achievements are all behind you. Regardless of whether you're just approaching 40 or firmly entrenched in your middle years, it's time to launch your very own personal journey toward a joyful and purpose-filled second half of life. Each week, host Roy Richards, an expert on midlife renewal and author of A Midlife Challenge, Wake Up, will discuss the challenges common to middle age and help guide you to a brighter tomorrow. Now, here's Roy.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's edition of Middle Age Can Be Your Best Age. And great that we can get together each week to share positive thoughts during these difficult times. And so how have you and yours been responding to the life-altering COVID-19 pandemic? Are you being vigilant, continually watching cable news and local news bulletins and staying online to stay updated with the latest developments? Keeping current at all times may seem the best way to stay safe from the coronavirus, but is it? Perhaps not, contends my guest, wellness expert and stress relief coach, Diana Ruiz. She's here to explain why thinking and worrying about coronavirus throughout the day could in fact make yourself more susceptible to contracting the virus. And more importantly, she's here to suggest some best practices to help arm your body with a super strong immune system at this very time when you need it most. And oh, by the way, lots of us face challenges that were in our lives well before the arrival of COVID-19. So are you ready to have more energy, lose weight, feel less frazzled, boost age-defying thoughts and emotions? Diane Ruiz also was here to suggest how to turn on your inner fountain of youth so that you can look and feel better both now and long after the coronavirus threat has subsided. And here are Donna Ruiz's qualifications. She's an award-winning author, speaker, and entertainer. And believe it or not, years ago, she suffered from social phobia, depression, PTSD, panic attacks, and dyslexia. And she's since become an acclaimed inner fountain of youth coach. She's a holistic emotional freedom technique, that's EFT practitioner, helping folks overcome sudden stress, anxiety, depression, and anger, and fear that blocks success in life at all levels. And she's author of the award-winning 2013 wellness book, Living Your Life with Water, How to Use Your Mind, Body, and Water Connection to Awaken Your Inner Fountain of Youth. And hello, Diane, and welcome to Middle Age Can Be Your Best Age.
Hi, nice to be here. I love the title of your show, by the way.
That's a great title, and it's very true. Well, let's get right into it. Can you please tell us how excessive worry over coronavirus could actually compromise our immune system? Also, what habits, bad habits, does excessive worry often lead to, and what health problems sometimes result?
Yeah, I think if it's okay, I would like to kind of set a foundation for health. Yeah, a new way to, so that everything I talk about it'll just feed into that. Yeah. So basically, our body rejuvenates. Some good news. Everybody needs some good news at this point in time. And the good news is that your body is rejuvenating every 7 years. Every 7 years, you have a brand new body.
That's true even when we're older?
It's so true. And a lot of people go, hey, if that's true, why do I, feel so old and things like that? Well, as we go along, you'll find the answer to that question.
Oh,
but first and foremost, your bones rejuvenate every 3 to 4 years, the lining of your stomach every 3 to 4 days. You have a new liver every 6 weeks.
I'll be there.
Yes. I know. So you're born with a body that wants to stay young all by itself. You don't even have to think about it. So there's a certain way to eat, think, and feel to boost your body's natural rejuvenation. And that's what my book is about. And so what they say is that stress actually literally slows down all that rejuvenating flow. But first of all, water is at the core of all that rejuvenation. So the way it works is you drink in the water, it helps with the breaking down and the building up, and then you pee, you sweat, all the excess stuff that your body doesn't need anymore. And then, of course, excuse my French, then you drink some more, and you've got this flow, this rejuvenating flow. You drink in the water, break up, break down, pee, sweat.
I didn't realize this, but we're 70% water, you tell us.
I know, some people, children are 90% water, but depending on how much you drink, it could be like literally 10 gallons of water in the average adult, which is full of water, right?
Yeah.
So first and foremost, hydrate. But then what if you were taking in the right amount of water and you were stressed all the time? Well, studies also show that when you get stressed, your circulation constricts. Think of a hose that's bent, hard for the water to get through, right?
Yeah.
So all this rejuvenating flow happening gets all of a sudden slowed down because of stress and tweaked out about life. So on a very simplified level, being stressed slows down your body's natural rejuvenation process, your natural healing process. So it becomes plus you're dumber when you're under stress, right?
Yeah.
And if you think of a student who has test anxiety, then you kind of know it. We've all experienced that at one point or another. So it becomes very important, especially in these times, for you to have the next great idea for your own life to move you forward in your relationships, in your business, everybody's like kind of getting to ground zero a little bit in their lives in different areas. So you're going to need your best, and to stay healthy, you're going to need your next best idea. So it becomes really important to learn quick ways to relax deeply, and that's the basis that I wanted to create there as we spring forward in our conversation.
Yeah, I know when you're worried about something, you tend to eat for comfort, not because you really relish. Well, you may relish it to some extent, but it's temporary. Really.
You know what? I find myself reaching every once in a while for something sweet. And, when I'm working with clients, whether they're trying to overcome an addiction or have weight loss, or they're dealing with a health issue, before I talk about don't eat this, don't eat that, don't smoke this, or don't, spend on that, the first thing I come at or talk about is where are you holding stress in your life in general? Because even though we're having an issue at work, let's say there's stress at work.
Yeah.
Let's say you're fantastic at work. They say work is good. You know what the heck you're doing, and but you're having relationship issues at home.
Yeah.
They're two separate parts of our life, but they're very connected because our brain serves both parts of those. So if we relax stress in the relationship, all of a sudden you've got more energy at work, you've got more creativity at work, because that kind of frees up resources in your brain.
I can speak from experience. I had a job years ago that I hated, and it was very difficult to have a good life at home with a wife and kids when it was, you can't shut the thing off at 5 o'clock every night and go home immediately happy. But
Definitely. So when it comes time to, when we're doing emotional eating, and one of the biggest reasons diets fail is because of emotional eating. So first and foremost, hey, what are you stressed about? Let's relax about it. And but the emotional eating part, if we want to go to that, ruminating on fears, getting on your phone, looking at the news all the time. And, I'm a stress relief coach, but I have to be very vigilant to bypass and turn things off for my own, turn off the media for a good portion of the day and turn on, the different relaxation techniques that I know how to do. because it's really important in this time, because there's a part of your body that's very, it's very poised to danger. And under normal circumstances, you know, you could run someplace and, you know, go distract yourself and in one way, shape, or form, but it's a little challenging when we're at home to run away and distract yourself. Yes, you can take a walk, but, you know, all the time, it might not be appropriate. It rains a lot here, so
well, I discovered on your website you offer a great free download, Immune Power 2020. Could you tell us a little bit about this download and some of the information it contains to help us deal with stressful times during this coronavirus? I know it has some great suggestions in it.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, it's at DianaERuiz.com, and that's Diana, DianaERuiz.com/immunepower2020, all spelled out. And I created that because I know that everybody's stressed, anxious.
That's for sure.
There's a lot of changes happening, and whenever changes happen in our life, even good change, you know, when you get into a new house, a new neighborhood, fantastic, you've been dreaming about it, your body is poised to be like, I don't know, I've never been here before, let's, you know, just be very aware, be very cautious. There's a part of your body that's very keyed up with all of these changes, and these aren't the best changes. I mean, depending on how you look at it, these could be viewed as, hey, these are very uncomfortable changes for me. I don't have money right now as much as I would like because I can't go to work. I'm now staying indoors with people I normally don't have to be around for very much.
I'm wondering how many more divorces there'll be over the next few months when people are forced to spend time together, couples that didn't really realize how little they understood about each other when they were off doing their works or whatever. But
absolutely. And, you know, it's a very real thing. It's a very, very real thing right now. And what the site walks you through is how to eat, think, and feel to boost your immune system. With great downloads for stress relief. I developed a relaxation technique called the Miracle Relax Mantra.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Perhaps you could tell us a little more about that. That sounded great. But,
Yes. It's actually something, I started off as a tapping coach in an EFT. I don't know if you've heard of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique.
Yeah.
And that's basically where you're tapping on acupressure points on your face and hands, the same points that an acupuncturist would use for needles, but you're not using needles. You're tapping on these places. And it is so powerful. And I have a video on that, and I have a free download to show you exactly how to do that. It's been used for veterans. It's now accepted for veterans to help them with PTSD. 8 out of 10 veterans test negatively for PTSD after 6 one-hour sessions.
Oh, that's great.
It is fantastic. It helps to reset. You know, that I just talked about that worrisome. At a deep level, your body's very poised and very worried. Even when you're sleeping, you think you're relaxed. There's just this, especially in a situation like this, there's just a very, very poised, hypervigilant part of your body. Well, when you tap on those certain acupressure points, it sends a calming response to your brain, that part of the brain that is geared to be activated during a time like this. And what happens is when you're tapping and focusing on something that's bothering you, at the very end, studies show that part of the brain that stores that, the amygdala, lights up when you're tapping. And in the case of a veteran, since we were talking about veterans, they can remember, oh, yeah, that there was this horrible thing that happened. But instead of this fear and pumping adrenaline and you know, all of those memories that were stored in the body, instead of all of that coming up, they have a new response. which is a relaxed response. It's not like it eliminated the memory, but it did transform and relax the response, so now they can think about it and not be very, very upset and very traumatized by it. And then I thought that was appropriate to put on that site as a free download because, you know, on a very deep level, we're all, I know I can speak for myself, very, very concerned about my loved ones, very concerned about going out in public, touching something and having something potentially, you know, bring home to my family, and all of that. Very, very, very real concerns. And the thought sometimes is, well, wait a minute. If I relax about that, I'm going to let down my guard, and then I'm not going to be as hypervigilant. And, you know, that's the reasoning, typical for 100% of the people that I work with, including myself. That's just natural. But you know,
I thought that was very interesting on your free download. You say kindness to others actually empowers our immune system. How does that work?
Exactly. Well, see, once you relax about everything and you go through, you hydrate. First of all, if you're dehydrated, your body can go into fight or flight. It can cause a panic attack.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're hydrating. Then you go through and you download and then you relax about different things. You follow the instructions. Well, the thing that comes natural after you're feeling a little more relaxed and a little more at ease is that you all of a sudden get back to your natural states, which we are all kids at one time, and we all have, as a natural part of our personality, laughter, confidence, and kindness, compassion. Kids, you know, you get hurt and they want, how are you okay? And they want to give you a hug and they want to kiss your boo-boo, you know. They're very, that was us.
Yeah.
And then life happened, right? And so when you relax, then the natural aspect of who you are comes up. And the beautiful thing about that is that when you are thinking kind things, according to the Mother Teresa effect, it's a study that showed when students were watching videos of kind things happening, like Mother Teresa helping people, they did testing. And the immune response jumped just watching kindness unfold in front of the students. Then they did a test on actually doing a kind something for somebody. Yes, immune response, but also just thinking kind things about others also gave a spike in the immune response. So
I guess there is some truth in the statement you constantly hear on TV, we're all in this together. I get tired of hearing that, but in other words, kindness and concern for others really is important to help our own immune system.
Absolutely. And on my site, I do have a kindness meditation that actually is geared to, you know, help you relax, which is number one. As soon as you relax, your circulation opens up. And then that rejuvenates. That's like you get into deep healing mode when you're relaxed. And then it just takes you through a little visualization of imagining something kind happening for yourself and for others. And you know, the cool thing is that when you're thinking kind things about other things, you reap the health benefits of it. So, you know, it's a win-win.
Well, I noticed your download also gives a number of excellent examples of no-cost or very low-cost immune boosters. Can you give us a sample, just a couple of them? We don't have time for all of them, obviously, but
that's okay. For sure. So first of all, kindness doesn't cost anything. It boosts your immune system, right? The download for learning how to tap on your acupressure points is a free download, and when you relax, that's good. Hydrating is very important to do that. And also just getting into what to eat. There are, you know, meditation, laughing, finding something funny. I notice on Facebook there are some darn funny things that are going around. And it might seem irreverent, but it's so wise. It's so wise in times like this to to find levity, and it's really for your health. It's good for your health to find something. So find a comedy, get your old DVDs out, find something. Kittens. I love watching the kittens and the dogs and the animals online.
They're always relaxing to watch the little dogs.
They make me laugh every time. And gratitude. Now, if it's okay, I just really want to talk about a healing perspective on this whole thing, on anything, actually, anything in life that's difficult. And, you know, the story I like to tell is from Viktor Frankl. Have you heard of Viktor Frankl?
Yes, I think I have. I don't recall. Just
his Man Search for Meaning. He had a book, and it's called Man Search for Meaning, and he is a survivor of the Holocaust, psychiatrist, and he wrote a book. And he shared a couple of his protocols that he developed after being in that situation for such a long time. And one of them is finding something to be grateful for, even in the most horrible situation. And the story that he told was of a man, a good friend, a colleague of his, that his wife passed away. And he could not get, of course, and the grief was intense, and his health was failing. So knowing the good question to ask his friend, he said, what if, to create a feeling of gratitude, he asked his friend, what if you had passed first? And then just upon thinking of that, immediately he thought, oh my goodness, my wife, I mean, she's just, her sensitive heart, if I think I'm suffering right now, she would have suffered 10 times more. So in that moment, he was grateful that for that situation, that she had passed first, so that she would not have to have dealt with what he was dealing with, and his health returned. So it's really important, even in something as intense and serious as somebody passing, it's so important for us to find that thing, and just really search your heart and find that thing to be grateful for. In my case, I see a lot of cool things going on Facebook where people are saying, hey, we're inside, we're finding out, what we're really made of, we're having time, we're playing with the kids more, we're creating, we're getting out in the garden more. It isn't the ideal situation for sure for anybody, but, just finding that thing to be grateful for.
Yeah, I see all kinds of people out on this walking path next to our house, much more than you normally see, and a lot of kids with their parents and stuff, and that's very reassuring to see that. But,
yes.
Well, for now, that's enough about coronavirus. Let's turn to a more positive subject of kickstarting your inner fountain of youth. What is the single most powerful thing you and I can do to supercharge our body's natural rejuvenation?
Well, you know what? What's interesting is all these things that we've been talking about that kickstart your immunity also kickstart your inner fountain of youth. So you're doubling down. You're doubling down. So anytime you find something to be grateful for in this time, you're actually giving your body a rejuvenating boost. Anything that helps you to relax. So relieving stress is the most important thing that you can ever do in your whole life, period.
Yeah.
Reducing stress.
Yeah.
That's
as you call them, we got to overcome the zombie emotions and moldy oldies that are in our subconscious minds that prevent happiness. Any suggestions on ways to attack those?
Oh, that's a good way to put it too. And interestingly enough, in my book, I call them zombie emotions because they're things that when you're going through life. Okay, hey, listen. By the time we are our age, middle-aged, however that is, we've experienced a lot in life, and unless we have sat down and taken an inventory, like is requested and recommended in any of the downloads that I have. They just don't go away. They don't go away on their own until you have a good idea, until you have an epiphany, your brain is geared to hang on to situations that are painful, so that it tries to protect you from, you touch a hot stove. Oh, don't ever do that again. So whenever little one walks past the stove, they're like, oh, I'm going to go way around that, because it's serving us. It's serving us. Well, a hot stove, yes. Looking both ways before you cross the street, yes, that is serving us. But if we've been in a bad relationship, per se, and we're trying to move forward in life, and we don't handle the stuff, our feelings and the hurt that came along with all of that, the subconscious has the old messaging: danger, danger, danger. Stay away, and it can, find a way to derail, good things that could potentially be happening. So, paying attention and to past issues, learning how to find that rejuvenating perspective, and that comes along with finding that gratitude. That gratitude opens your circulation. Things that open your circulation are hope, kindness, compassion, laughter, feelings of well-being, anything that's opposite of feeling crappy.
Yeah. Well, we don't have time to talk about it, but you offer a number of great products on your website, including your book, Healing Your Life with Water, and you also offer a free test, 30-minute free coaching session, I understand, so that people can
yes, absolutely.
help them free like the number one cause of failed diets, and erase limiting beliefs about weight and health and success, and leverage your mind and body and water connection. All that sounds fascinating. Plus, you're a talented musician, and you offer a download of A Quiet Moment, Nature Sounds with Flute, is also I found on Amazon. So there's a number of interesting products there that people can look at.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good. The reason I wrote my book is because after living with panic attacks and waking up in the middle of the night, not knowing that I was going to die, and not understanding why, and the doctor not understanding why either, and panic attacks and PTSD, is I finally felt good in my skin, and I just wanted to shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah, that's a wonderful book. And in conclusion, through her groundbreaking book, her coaching, and her speaking, Diana Ruiz reveals a surprising key to feeling better, looking younger, and building up a super strong immune system, thereby living longer and changing the world, even during this extremely unsettling time of the coronavirus pandemic. And now, from speaking with Diana, we are aware that the key is using your mind, body, and water connection. Since you and I are 70% water, this only makes sense, doesn't it? And why not join Diana Ruiz on a voyage to heal your own body of water and kickstart your inner fountain of youth? And I'm certain that your new understanding about the importance of water, plus a few simple, easy-to-implement techniques, can positively transform the rest of your life. And I highly recommend you go to Diana's website, that's dianacruiz.com, and obtain her free download, Immune Power 2020, preview her award-winning book, Healing Life with Water, and perhaps sample her coaching. And I recommend that that's certainly a good thing to do in these difficult times, and rather than sitting around fretting over what the cable news network has to say, or what some talking head says about the possibility of how bad coronavirus is going to get, let's think about getting rid of those sick and tired restrictions on your movement, entertaining, and socializing. But let's look at the good side. Whatever your current age, this is a great time to awaken that fountain of youth inside. And thank you so much, Diana. You've been very inspiring to us, and best of success on that book and in all that you do.
Thank you. And if I could say, it's Diana E. Ruiz. That's okay. DianaERuiz.com/ImmunePower2020.
Thanks so much.
Yes.
Well, thank you to my guest, Diana Ruiz, for her great suggestions on healing both during the current pandemic and after the word coronavirus becomes ancient history. Let's hope that soon. Before we move on, I need to offer an apology. A couple of times during the previous today's interview, I called Diana's acclaimed book by the wrong title. I referred to it as Living Your Life with Water, when in fact the correct title is Healing Your Life with Water by Diana Ruiz. And also, I need to alert you to a great offer that Diana Ruiz has made. For a short while, she is offering her book, the full title, Healing Your Life with Water, How to Use Your Mind, Body, and Water Connection to Awaken Your Inner Fountain of Youth, in ebook for only 99 cents a copy. How's that for a deal? To purchase the book at this reduced price, simply go to DianaRuiz.com/ImmunePower2020, or you can simply Google Immune Power 2020, and it'll take you right to the location. At this location, you'll also find low-cost and no-cost ways to strengthen your immune system during these perilous times. Certainly a wise thing to do. Now, to close out today's program, you may recall that last week I offered 5 suggestions to help you work more effectively from home. And today I'll offer 5 more suggestions. And as I mentioned last week, my suggestions were inspired by an article by Alexandra Samuel in the March 30th, 2020 Wall Street Journal. And here's suggestion number 6. Take time to reconnect. Whether or not you function primarily as a team in the shop or office or on your own, now is the time to think carefully about how you can build and sustain collegial relationships when you have exactly 0 in-person contact. Even if you're not real close to anyone in your workplace, you may find that lack of eye contact, body language clues, or casual greetings makes you feel less connected to your workplace colleagues. And more importantly, over time, it may fray the unspoken bonds of trust that let us work together as teams. Here's an idea. Take a few minutes at the beginning or end of the next web conference or video call to just connect with your colleagues as actual humans. Ask others how they are doing, or ask for tips on how they are coping with a cooped-up existence, how they are keeping their kids happy, occupied, or maybe just a tiny share of your own personal news, but without bragging. At first, you may need to initiate this personal interaction, but once started, you will find most of your colleagues eager to share. These little interpersonal investments in relationship building will go a long way to enhance the day for each of you. Also, it should improve collective results because collaboration works better when folks come to know and trust their coworkers. And here's a somewhat strange suggestion number 7, wear a fitness tracker. The article's author, Miss Samuel, reports that the last time she switched from office work to remote work, she gained 20 pounds in the first year because her baseline level of activity went from moderate to 0. That's hard to believe. No more walking from the parking lot to the office, walking to and from the coffee maker. That sounds even sillier. Or walking out and back to lunch if you do that. It doesn't sound like real strenuous exercise, but anything works better than none. I know it sounds silly, but it is very easy to become sedentary around home, and also access to junk food is all too easy throughout the day, and it's often done just as by habit or to ease current stress rather than because you're really hungry. I know it sounds silly, but it becomes way too easy to snack on crackers or whatever. So it's important not to ignore diet and exercise when working from home. Ms. Samuels suggests you wear a step counter and commit yourself to a minimum daily step count. Now, I don't know if you want to go that far, and I don't know how many steps is a good number, but my best advice, get active around the home as much as you can. Mow the lawn, run the laundry up and down the stairs a few more times, go on a brisk morning walk, as President Harry Truman used to call it, is daily constitutional, and stay away beyond all else from those between meal snacks. And weigh yourself regularly to ensure that excess weight is not sneaking up on you. We all work better and perform much better when we're trim and in shape, and you don't want to be the one that everyone's looking at and speaking behind your back about all the weight you've gained while you were away from the office. No one wants to be that person. And here's suggestion number 8, set up personal mental health check-ins. No, you don't have to go to a psychiatrist. You can do it on your own. If you're working from home, especially if you live alone, it's crucial that you have some kind of structure for checking in on your own mental health and well-being. Don't let yourself get lost in a sea of work and deadlines, stressful activities. You might want to experiment with a few different mood tracking and daily reflection exercises that prompt you to check upon your mood and emotional state at least once a day, and then to take action to correct problems. Make mood reflection a key part of your morning ritual. Self-scan when you awaken to determine what kind of emotions are residing this day in your mind and body. And if the scan tells you that you're low or anxious, try to exercise earlier in the day. Rearrange your plans so that you're doing something less stressful, perhaps less routine and more interesting and enjoyable, and eat more carefully so that you don't ride the blood sugar roller coaster. And if you're married, you may want to have a joint evening mood check-in every day. Here's suggestion number 9, schedule standing dates. You know, we all need at least some just for fun social interaction. Therefore, it may prove to be very helpful to have standing dates to ensure you have some social interaction every week, even if you're unable to make firm plans. If you're married, how about a scheduled date night 1 or 2 times a week, with or without the kids? On those nights, you do something both of you or all of you enjoy, with a promise that neither of you will bring up household, parenting, or career issues. Spend the evening together, even if it's just sitting on your back porch, just soaking in the surroundings. Also, you'll need social contact with folks outside your immediate family. How about a daily or maybe thrice weekly 4 p.m. walk outdoors with 1 or 2 friends, or perhaps a standing morning telephone call with an old friend or a new colleague? Such personal interaction may help you get a focused start to your workday. And here's perhaps the biggest challenge of all, number 10, isolate yourself from continuous distraction from household duties and the kids. And the kids and teenagers are all home now when you not expect them to be because of schools closures. And when working from home, you face the very difficult additional challenge of isolating yourself in a quiet and home workplace and shutting out for several hours at a time the normal pressures of often hyperactive, probably bored kids and teenagers. Also, if your school district is conducting online classes, you have the challenge of ensuring that your kids are attending them and completing homework assignments while you try to get your own work done. Sadly, if you don't live near a wonderful, committed, available daily sitter, grandparents are often your best bet, who are willing to come over or take your kids with them during the day. I don't have any great suggestions. However, depending on their age, you can certainly explain the situation and ask your children for support. Maybe the older ones can be very helpful in supervising the younger. Establish a clear routine of when it's okay and when it's not okay, and those times when you must not be interrupted except for clearly defined emergencies. And schedule activities in advance for your kids, especially the school's online classes. And here's a helpful suggestion. If both you and your spouse are working from home, take turns between working and parenting. For example, you're at work from 8 a.m. to noon, your spouse from 1 to 5, while the other spouse assumes primary parenting responsibilities. And so long as you two are flexible, this scheduling could work. One thing for certain, you will need privacy, a place you can self-isolate from the noise and commotion all around. And when all is said and done, the only real solution to this current social distancing challenge is inner calmness, flexibility, and a huge dose of love and understanding for each family member who is homebound with you. And experts warn of potential physical and emotional abuse and marital and family breakdowns because of coronavirus and the stay-at-home directives. But you and I at middle age have been around and are wise enough to know that the opposite effect also is possible, getting to know each family member much better, increasing your love, sacrifice, and sharing with the other. And so long as each one of us is prepared to sacrifice for our fellow humans in our household, we will strengthen our marriage and our families. Also, lighten up, laugh a lot, and share this rare opportunity to be together. You'll miss it when it's gone tomorrow. And keep an eye on how great the future will be once this pandemic is over. And if you must work from home, congratulations, you still have a job. Let's all do whatever we can to display kindness and to reach out to those who do not. And hang in there. Join us again next week when I promise our guests will offer positive advice on how everyone can help assure that middle age is our best age. Talk to you then.
You've been listening to Middle Age Can Be Your Best Age, hosted by Roy Richards, an expert on midlife renewal and author of both A Midlife Challenge, Wake Up, and Wake Up, Captain and Crew, Restart Your Engines. You can learn more about Roy and his middle age renewal training system by visiting his website, middleagerenewal.com.